Hey guys, what's up? It's Coach Carroll. Welcome to another episode of the Sales Factory podcast. Boy, do I got a treat for you guys today, as always. But today I'm really jazzed about this because this guy's in the media space. And so we're going to get a little nerdy, talk about videos, get some of you like introverts super uncomfortable, but hopefully give you some frameworks and some tips that you can use to grow your brand. Joining me this episode, I got my man Patrick Carr, founder of Blue Collar Media Group and an inspiring creator behind a rapidly growing media empire for service businesses. After years in sales, hospitality, and the contractor world, plus nearly losing it all, Patrick has built a multi-million-dollar video production company from scratch. He helps blue-collar businesses showcase their story, stand out in crowded markets, and become the authority in their space, often starting from nothing but a cell phone. You guys know I love my selfie videos. He's also the host of The Patrick Carr Show. Patrick is living proof that grit, smart branding, and relentless belief can transform your story. Patrick, welcome to the Sales Factory, my man.
Man, thank you very much for having me today. And I'm hoping I can live up to that intro. I'm not sure that I can, but I'm going to do my best here today. So thank you very much for having me.
Let's do it, man. You know, Perplexity AI, shout out to them. They do a great job writing these things up for me. So I give credit where credit's due, man. Well, cool. Talk to us about your journey, man. You started out in hospitality. Now you're kind of building this media mogul empire in the blue collar world, which I'm a big fan of. My background, I turned down 8 football scholarships my senior year of high school and started mowing grass. Grew that to about $3 million in revenue and sold it. Transitioned into power washing and window cleaning, which I still own that company this day. It's called Easy Pro, and we do some of the largest properties all across the Midwest and Southeast. And so blue collar is near and dear to my heart, even though we work with some of the largest insurance agencies in the U.S., so I'm excited to have you on, man. Talk to us about how you got from hospitality over to the blue collar world.
Yeah, so I had this dream after watching that movie Ocean's 11 back in the day that I was going to run hotels for a living. I was going to be my own Ocean's 11, I guess. So I graduated from the University of Florida and I got an internship with Walt Disney World, all right? Because I thought, okay, I'll start there. Then I moved over to Marriott and I worked for Marriott for about 5 years and eventually made it over into selling timeshare of all things.
You're one of those guys that like steal their ID and don't give it back to them until the end of the day, right? It's like, no, just let me show you one more room, Mr. Carroll, then I'll give you your ID back.
Right, and then you can get your free tickets to the Disney park. But, so I did that for a couple of years, but I felt kind of sleazy doing that. So I found my way into collections of all things. So I was literally one of those guys in my mid-20s, I should say, that was sitting there on the phone. I'm calling somebody who hadn't paid on a job and trying to collect on it. And eventually I found out that a lot of the files that I had were contracting. They were painters, they were roofers, things on those lines. And the company that I was working for said, you know what, we're noticing the same thing. So what we're going to do is we're going to start funding contractors their insurance money up front. And then we're going to go chase down State Farm or Allstate for that money on the back end. I'm like, great, this is awesome. Until I found out that company didn't have the money to float the money to the contractors. And so they were robbing Peter to pay Paul and doing things the wrong way. I quit that company on a Wednesday afternoon with nothing to do because I didn't want to be the fall guy for it. And I called up every one of these contractors that I was working with. And I said, listen, they don't have the money to pay you. They're not doing things the right way, but I'm telling you the truth the best that I know how to. 2 of them said, hey, listen, we like what you did for that company with social media. Could you do it for us? And I, of course, said, sure. I had no income coming in. My house was being foreclosed on. My car had just broke down. I'm like, I'll do anything. Now, I had a videographer with that previous company. But so I had no idea how to edit a video or what to do. And I had no equipment because the videographer had that equipment. So I went to YouTube University, downloaded a couple apps onto my phone. And that's how I started Blue Collar Media Group with those 2 clients that said they wanted me to do for them what I had done for this funding company for about 1.5 to 2 years that brought them on as a client. From there, we've now grown. We're now 14 people, all W-2 employees that work right here in the office. We generated over 2,000 videos for contractors. We're on pace to do about 5 million in revenue this year. We did about 2 million last year, 5 million this year, hoping for 10 million next year. And I work primarily with all blue collar businesses, making them look like rock stars across the country.
Yeah, man, I love that. And they need, I just did a speaking engagement yesterday with one of the local chamber of commerce. They had me come in. There was probably 60 business owners there, and one of the guys I love doing Q&A. I'm hoping I can do Q&A at the upcoming Titan Moving Retreat, which you're going to be a part of as well. And so excited to be able to meet you in person. Depending on when this comes out, that event may have already passed, depending on the team. But I was at this event, and I did Q&A, and a guy stood up. He was like, "Hey, I'm a business development rep for a roofing company. We're on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook. We don't have Instagram. What advice do you have for me?" And I was like, "Why the fuck aren't you on Instagram?" was the first question. And he was like, "I don't know, man. I've only been here 3 weeks." So he kind of blamed the team. I was like, "I'll give you a pass." But I told him, I was like, "Dude, you had, like, if you're in the construction space, like the blue collar space, it's so easy to make content. Like, you have a built-in studio that also changes every single day, right? From job site to job site. It blows my mind. Like, I get it. The guys aren't comfortable being, in front of the camera or making the content. But I told him, I was like, dude, a super simple reel you can make is, watch how fast we nail this 2x4. And you just hit the thing on like rapid fire with a nail gun like 12 times, and then throw up your logo at the end. And watch what that does on social, because that's going to get watched 6 times in a row, and it'll force it to go viral. It's like, there is such a hidden gem, I think, with these blue collars, which is probably a reason why you guys have grown so fast. I mean, talk to us about the content. Are you making these like long form cinematic? You doing short form? You doing all of it? Talk to the people, Patrick. Like, what do you guys do when you come out and work with these contractors?
So I want to dive into that, but I want to go back to just something you just said about the person who's not creating content. It's one of the first things that I start off with any of our contractors or our clients is, why haven't you been creating content? Why are you at a point where you're calling Blue Collar Media Group to come out there and rescue you for a lot of people, because they're so far behind the 8 ball, they need somebody to come out there and help them, which is great. We work with them. But the thing I get across to everyone first is, the reason you haven't created content is not because you don't know how to. It's not because you don't know what to create or you don't have the ability. It's because you're scared of other people in your industry. You're scared of their judgment. You're scared of their negative comments. You're scared of what they're going to say about you at a ball game. It's not your potential customers, not your potential clients that you're worried about. It's what the roofer down the street, the landscaper down the street is going to say about you in the comments section. Or Beach Lover 928 with a picture of a seagull and its profile.
No profile picture, right? Yeah. Wanda 11667. They're like, you always know they're a troll because they don't have a profile picture.
And that's what scares a lot of people, even a lot of my clients who might have this persona that, they're big and tough. I'm a blue collar contractor. No, that is something we have to give the devil its due. It's very difficult to handle negativity. And we're scared of it oftentimes because it's one of the few places online where many people hear negativity for the first time. They don't put themselves out there often enough to hear negative feedback. And so they're getting a lot of it all at once when they begin running ads or begin putting their brand online. And so with our clients, we start there. You first have to understand that you're capable, but it's the fear and the judgment of other people in your industry that is holding you back. And we can't let those people take food off the table for your family. That's a real thing that a lot of people experience.
I agree, man. And I always live by I've never had my bills paid by someone else's opinion, and I love this saying too, that you'll never see a dog bark at a parked car. Right. And so, like, if you're moving and grooving, man, like, people are going to be yapping. Right. But it's like, that's all right, Chihuahua. Stay on the porch because the big dogs is out here playing. Right. We're making content. I'm trying to make moves, because if people don't know you, they can't flow you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you've got to make sure that you're putting yourself out there. And it's crazy to me that a 47-year-old grown ass man still lives with the high school mentality in the 6 inches between his ears of like, but if I put myself out there, Patrick, what will everyone else say? It's like, it doesn't fucking matter, man. Like, honestly, I hope I make a piece of content and people go crazy hating on me in the comments, because that's going to juice the algorithm and get me in front of more people.
Absolutely. But I try to get our contractors to understand negativity is going to come your way.
Yeah.
Be prepared for it. Anytime you're creating, like you said, anytime you're creating something of substance, you're trying to do something with yourself and your brand, your life, people are going to come at you with negativity. And if you're mentally prepared for that, you're going to be in a better place when you begin creating content. Now, as far as the kind of content we create, it depends completely on the individual in front of us. I have some people with packages, all they want to do is create reels and shorts for Instagram and for YouTube.
Yep.
Other individuals want to do company stories, cinematic stuff that they can put on their website, mini documentaries. Some of the funnest stuff that we do are stuff for the community, maybe a
Yeah.
roof giveaway that someone does, or something for a veteran that we can really highlight that individual, and storytelling becomes important there. But it really depends on the individual and what their needs are and where they're at in their business. And then we customize the package for them.
I love it, man. Yeah, the community involvement stuff is probably some of the best content you can put out. And I don't say that. I think, there is a time and a place to give in silence, and like that's between you and your creator. But like, I also think that it should be a part of your marketing plan. Like for us, in my company, our core values are growth, innovation, velocity, and excellence. So it spells out give. And each quarter, we do a give project with a local nonprofit called the Family Scholar House. And their mission is to raise people out of poverty through education. It's a hand up, not a handout. And they work with a lot of single moms that have been in really bad situations. And so it's such a great opportunity for us. And once a quarter now, like I've got a focal piece that like we can create content around that resonates, whether you want to hire us or not. It puts us in a great light in the community. And I think that's a great strategic plan. I love that, man. Because yeah, sure, like you could do this, the nail in the 2x4 20 times in 13 seconds, right? But like you also can show like, hey, we helped this veteran out in the local community, which I think is a great piece. So that's sick, man. I love that. And how long have you guys been doing this? How long have you guys been making content for blue collar people?
So I started the company in April of 2021.
Okay,
It
sweet.
was just
It's a
me.
newer venture. So you guys,
It was me
I
and a
mean, you guys
seller.
are fucking hockey sticking then, man.
Yeah. So it was me. It was me. And for the first 2 years, it was only me. So through about the beginning of 2023, it was only me. And in fact, if I was doing a podcast, I'd go over there, I'd set up the camera, and I'd click record. I'd run back to the other side, and I just hope that it was in focus.
Yeah, right.
I remember the first time I went out there. If you want to talk about screwing up, anybody in media will understand this. I had no idea how a camera worked. I went up to Georgia to film a contractor. I bought the camera literally the Friday before. I had to be there on a Monday. I'm going on YouTube, A7 III, how do you use it, beginner's guide, everything I could come up with. I had no idea there was something called an ND filter. When you're outside in white light, you need to have an ND filter on there.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Coach Carroll, and I want to interrupt this podcast real quick to make sure you guys are getting your copy of the Hunter Head Game. You can go to thehunterheadgame.com and register for your copy. Everyone that registers will get a free copy of the audio book. It doesn't cost me anything to get that out to you, so it's one of the easiest ways for me to give back to the entrepreneur community. This book is really focused on the last 10 years of my life and all the lessons that I've learned along the way being an entrepreneur. I truly believe that the old world rewarded obedience, and we're in a new world that demands killer instincts. As we continue to see layoffs and we continue to see economic changes happen, the creator economy, the gig economy, I think this book will open your eyes and give you some much needed skills and a refresher. Even if you're an apex hunter already, I think there's some stuff in here that you could take away to sharpen your blade. So go to thehunterheadgame.com and pre-register for your copy. Let's get back to the episode.
Me, I had no idea. My footage came out grainy, terrible, unusable. I spent an entire 2 days with this company, and I had to go back and reshoot with them and give them a refund on top of it. I mean, I learned the hardest way you could learn, that I had no idea what I was doing. But I think that process was all about accountability. I began to just tell people, this is where I'm at right now in my journey. I know I can help you. I'm not sure the quality and how it's going to turn out, but I promise you, I'm going to do everything I can for you. And what ended up happening was that people, I think like you said, they liked me and they wanted to give me a chance. And so a few companies gave me a chance, and that helped me to catapult me and learn and get better at the craft. But I surely screwed up more times than I can imagine when it came to doing it by myself.
Yeah, I think that happens in every business. And I think, for entrepreneurs, man, just in general, that's one of the best ways to start is just to be honest, because like you always hear this saying, like big companies want to be small and small companies want to be big. And so, I get a lot of entrepreneurs. I call them young entrepreneurs. A young entrepreneur could be 67 years old, but he's in year one of his business, right? So like that, those are my people, because when I decided not to take those football scholarships and start my first business, I felt like I was letting my mom and my dad down, and my chemistry teacher, who I like aced AP chemistry and chemistry 1, chemistry 2. She's like, "What are you doing? Like, you could go make $100,000 a year being a chemical engineer." It's like, now one of my companies does a couple $1,000,000 a year. It's like, I'm glad I bet on myself. But if I talk to young entrepreneurs, I'm like, dude, just be honest, because if you're working with wealthy individuals, people that have a certain level of success, they'll let you get by with some shit that you wouldn't have let a high level professional company get by with if they know you're starting out, right? Because there is a sense in, I think, all successful entrepreneurs to send the elevator back down, right? It's literally why I wrote this book, The Hunter Head Game. It's like, I think that if you just own that, right? And I think that's what I'm hearing from you is like, for those first few years, you just kind of owned it, and you're like, "Hey man, I'm learning, help me help you" type of situation. I think that more entrepreneurs need to lean in that and not act like they have it all figured out. This whole like fake it till you make it thing. I honestly don't think that was a bad thing back in the day, but then like Instagram came around and like it got blown completely out of proportion. I said in my talk yesterday, if somebody messages, I've spent almost 400 hours working on ChatGPT. I've probably spent another 300 hours working on Claude, literally used it to edit my book. So like I've got a really good understanding of how these things work and whatnot, but I'm far from an expert. I'll never call myself an expert. I'd rather be a student and a practitioner. And I told the business owners yesterday, I said, if someone hits your LinkedIn inbox and their profile says AI expert and they're trying to sell you some shit, you should run, because the AI experts are in Silicon Valley, because old Zucks is paying $100 million signing bonuses. So if you know your shit, that's where you're at, not like DMing people on LinkedIn. So sorry, little caveat, little sidebar there, but
the AI thing is interesting, because what's happened is in the past year, when we do, let's say, pre-production or sales calls with individuals, they want to know how much of this is going to be AI, or can we do a completely AI video? And that becomes a topic of conversation probably 5 to 6 times a week, especially with potential customers who are interested in how video has progressed, with AI has progressed in video.
Let's talk about that for a second, Patrick. I'd be curious your thoughts and what you're seeing.
So I do an activity every month with my team to put ourselves out of business. We do a Friday and we spend 6 hours and we try to put Blue Collar Media Group out of business. I encourage other companies to do the same. What would you do if you were a competitor? And lately, for the past 6 months, every single time we do it, it's AI. How will AI render us completely useless as videographers, editors, and a media company? We're at a point now where we can use 6 different apps to come up with something similar to what we shoot in the field if we have an image or video that we can reference.
Yeah.
That's it. Similar. And that's using through 6 different apps that we have to go through. We have to get the image out on this one. We have to add motion to it here. It's difficult. I think that we'll be down to maybe 3 to 4 apps by the end of the year. And I've told my team the traditional media as we do it right now is going to be gone in 3 years. Our company as it sits right now will be gone. We will not be going out to contractors and filming in the field and doing what we do. But the storytelling is what it's going to be replaced by. Our ability to input information into AI to give us an image, a rendering, and a video of that contractor on top of a roof, landscaping, doing whatever they want to do. We're going to have to be storytellers and communicate with AI to give us those videos that we want. And I look at it like avatar management, that an individual contractor, we're going to be able to put them wherever we want to, on a plane with their family going to Myrtle Beach, or they could be on top of a roof talking about flashing. They could be talking about drip edge, or be in their office doing a podcast. We can place them where we want to place them. But are we going to have the ability as a team to storytell and communicate with AI to make that happen? That's what we have to become more proficient in the next couple of years, or we'll be rendered useless in the future.
I love that, man. I love that. This is we don't do it nearly as often as you guys are doing. Maybe I need to go back to my team and talk to them about that. But we, in 2022, I kind of saw this coming when Dolly kind of hit mainstream. And I said, hey, take and put me an image. We do, I don't know, 800 to 1,000 pieces of content per quarter for our clients. I mean, like mass production and distribution. And so I was like, hey, there might be an efficiency opportunity here, right? Like I'm a business guy. I'm always looking to fatten the bottom line. Like my good friend Tommy Mello says, revenue is for vanity, profits for sanity. And so, for me, I'm always leaning into this stuff. And I think real entrepreneurs are always trying to look around the corner, right? Like you don't run from it, you run to it, which I think is what you're alluding to here. And so like I asked ChatGPT at the time, I said, use Dolly. And I said, this is when you actually had to go into Dolly. It was like separate interface. And I said, make me a picture of a family standing in front of a house. And, it was like dial-up internet, like it was taking forever for like the image to generate. And I'm like watching it and dude, they're like faces were fucking melting. Their fingers were real long like Slender Man. And I was like, okay, we got some time. It's not here yet, but this thing is fucking coming. And I live and die by the philosophy that technology is undefeated. You can think that the internet is a fad. It wasn't. You can think that social media is a fad. It wasn't. You can think that this AI thing is a fad. It's not. And so for us, I said, hey, we can't run away from this thing. We got to run to it. And so we got to work building Allie, which is our AI platform. And she does 85% of the heavy lifting now in our business, from creative to copywriting to strategy to distribution. It's super powerful. And then she's allowed us to scale into some other areas. And really, we're morphing from kind of like you're saying your business isn't going to exist how it is in the future. I saw that as well. And so instead of hiding from that fact, I said, we just got to transition. So now we're more of a software business than we are a media company. And the power behind this, though, is we're able to keep costs down so I can deliver more value to my clients, provide better service, and our margins are even healthier. And so it's powerful, man. It's crazy, but I think you're right that the power of storytelling is there. I think using those tools are powerful. And then, I mean, they just continue to grow. Grok's new rollout that they had with their video creation's pretty wild. VO3 is amazing. I've got if you guys want to go check out, I believe I posted on the Coach Carroll Facebook page, sex sales and marketing. And if you didn't know that, the Sweeney jeans commercial, I think kind of brought that back, right? We're kind of this pendulum swinging back a little bit now. And so I said, hey, give me a blonde bombshell with just a ripped black guy, and I want him to walk on the scene outside of a Miami nightclub and look into the camera, hold a microphone, and say my mantra, which is hustle, it's worth it. And dude, this video is fucking insane. I mean, they walk out, they're beautiful people. Well, they're AI. And they say, they look in the camera, they kind of look at each other and smile, look at the camera, and he goes, hustle. And she goes, it's worth it. Like a little laugh, and they turn around, walk away. And I'm like, dude, it took me 12 seconds to generate that prompt in that video. And it's like the production of that, if I really wanted to rent out a nightclub, and they had 50 people in the background as extras, you're talking about $100,000 little commercial shoot, if not more, because you're in Miami. So it's like, the bottles of water are $23 a piece. So it's crazy, Patrick, where this thing is going. And again, I love it for entrepreneurs because I truly believe that the internet, social media, artificial intelligence, I've got this framework I've trademarked as access, attention, and AI. They are not leveling the playing field. They're disproportionately stretching it. And what I mean by that is the winners are winning big and the losers are losing big. It is not a it's all tides lift the ships type of thing that people are trying to say. It's not, because Bob's Plumbing, that in 2010 thought they still didn't need a website because they had yellow pages. It's like Bob's fucked now in 2025, right? And he's looking I don't know why we had to just lay off another round of people. The phone's just not ringing like it used to. And part of me kind of aligns with Gary Vee on this, which is you got exactly what you fucking deserve, Bob. It's that a meritocracy thing where, business is business. And if you don't adapt, if you don't change, just like I talk about in the book, if you're not an apex predator and continually honing your skills, looking for new tools, you're going to be in trouble. And I don't have to point any further than the Cowboys and the Indians, man. You know, that's bows and arrows versus guns. Like, and I think that's what's happening right now with small businesses. So, I would love your take on that.
Yeah, we were trying to find somebody for a marketing position here, and for our own internal marketing is what we were doing. And it was amazing to me. We had a lot of young people coming through who had, I say young, probably in their late 20s, who had, they don't have jobs anymore from other blue collar businesses, let's put it that way. And I talked to them, and they're so used to the traditional marketing, even they haven't made the jump. They're, well, I want to go to the 18th hole of a charity golf tournament, set up our tent and give out some free drinks. And that's my marketing approach. And I'm thinking to myself, no wonder you're looking for a job. That might be a nice little thing to do on a Friday, but if that's your marketing approach, that's your experience, is that you think shaking hands is what's going to do it, you're going to be left behind. And it's not, like you said, you got what you deserve not having the job that you don't have anymore. So I think that people have got to wise up to what the capabilities of AI are in the next 2 to 3 years. It's going to put a business like mine out of business unless we adapt.
Yeah, and I think that's the point too. Is I've become very clear on my thesis that AI is not here to replace people; it's here to replace jobs, right? And so, like, one of Allie's functions, I mean, she can do some stuff that a human couldn't do, like AI lead detection. She can identify anonymous website visitors, right? So that you have a bigger pipeline of prospects that you can nurture. But like answering the phone, it's not that I want to fire Tina, who answers my phones now. It's the fact that Tina can do more high leverage, high level stuff now, because 30% of calls that come into a blue collar business are, Indians from overseas trying to sell you web and app development, an automated message about renewing your car warranty. Like, it's a huge waste of time, right? So like there's a pickup in that, but also with AI, you get the exact same conversation every single time. So you know your brand, right? So for instance, my blue collar business, Easy Pro, when Allie answers the phone, she says, "It's a great day at Easy Pro. This is Allie. Who do I have the pleasure of speaking with?" There's nothing more aggravating to a business owner than we learn, we go to a business conference, we're like, okay, cool. Make the systems, do the processes, train the team. Cool, got it. And you do that. And then it's like, and then the fucking human doesn't do the systems and the processes, right? Because Tina has an argument with her husband because he left his shoes on the stairs for the 9th time, and she's just fucking fed up with it. And she's like, it's no longer a great day at Easy Pro that morning. It's like, "Thanks for calling Easy Pro. It's Tina. How can I help you?" Right? It's like she goes wildly off script. And so I see there's opportunities where it's going to take jobs, but it's not going to eliminate people if they're good people, right? Because I truly believe you should be cutting the bottom 20% of your team every single year so that you can continue to grow and continue to flourish. But I'm with you, man. I want to talk about how you see this playing into branding, because you and I are both in this space. Obviously, I love social media. That golf course analogy is fucking spot on. That same $3,000 put towards Facebook ads engineered properly get you in front of 1 million people instead of the 150 that were at the golf scramble. So talk to me about, managing a personal brand versus a business brand in this digital world that we're in.
So I'll go high level on the advice that we give to our customers when it comes to running ads or building a brand. The first thing I tell them is we need to create a funnel for you with videos. And that funnel should give you consistent lead flow all the time. You shouldn't have these big ebbs and flows and roller coaster of leads coming in. We need to make sure that we've got solid lead flow. And for the brand, this is what we tell them. We say, your business is not sexy. It's not Donald Trump, and it's not a girl in a bikini. It's not going to be something that when people are scrolling on social, they're going to stop and go, "Man, I really want to consume this content about roofing right now." And a lot of contractors create content that's gives you information, it's educational, but it's boring.
Yeah.
No one's going to watch it.
I'm Bob with Bob's Roofing. We've been in the community for 35 years. If you need roofing, it's like, yes, swipe.
You're gone. I was gone when you're like, "Hey, I'm so-and-so." First of all, we tell everyone, stop introducing yourself. Nobody cares. You've added no value to my life.
Yep.
So But what we need to do in the very top of that funnel is we need attention. Attention is the ROI to begin a brand, in our opinion. So you need people to put eyeballs on you before your brand is ever going to matter. And so when we begin doing that with an individual or a company, we're looking for things in their local community that matter to people that may buy their product. So if we're doing something, let's just say in Austin, Texas, we want to find things in Austin, Texas that people care about, things that are local, things that are going on, news that is happening, so that we can grab attention on the top of our funnel right there. And we create videos that are going to get people to go, huh, what is this about? Doesn't that mean you have to put the nail into the roof? We need people to stop and start to see your face and hear your opinion, like you, want to just see more of your content. The second level, once we've done and we have that, we retarget with authority-driven content. Now, I want to know what you do and why you're the best at doing it. You've got my attention, but now I need to know why you're the best. The third level we go down is who else believes in you. I need to know there's somebody else, which is a testimonial normally from someone that is actually interesting to watch. So show me that somebody else believes in you on the third level. And then finally, funneling it down as a call to action with urgency. Why should I even get involved with you right now? I'll wait to get my roof till next year. We need them to understand now is the time to get this done and why it's important. What that does is it has people see you at all different levels, build trust in you, always like you. And by the time they call that business, there's somebody that they want to work with. They're not worried about price. It's just, I want to work with Bob because I love Bob. I've seen him on these ads. This is great. These people are my kind of people. And they'll pay a premium because they like you and they like what you stand for. But until you put yourself out there and grab attention at the top of the funnel, nobody's going to care.
I love that, man. That's so succinctly put. You said something there that I want to circle back on because that framework that you just delivered, and you guys need to go like rewind this and write that down because that was just like a little 2-minute masterclass on a branding funnel and understanding that not all marketing is the same, which I think is the biggest challenge. We work with some of the top all-state farmers and state farm agents in the U.S. It's where we built our business. And as I kind of come back to my roots in the blue collar space, like one analogy I always make is like Mountain Dew. Mountain Dew doesn't spend $7.5 million on a Super Bowl ad and then come in the boardroom on Monday morning and be like, how many bottles did we sell last night, right? Like that's not the play. Their play is about getting your attention so that you're now in that, what they call it, the reticular activator, right? Part of your brain to where it's like, you're like going, all right, I'm standing at the cooler door in the gas station. Which drink am I getting? And that Super Bowl ad flashes in your brain. And so boom, there it is, right? I love that you guys drill down to try to drive that, but like at the very, very top level, which, a lot of times we get when small business owners come to us, Patrick, and I'm sure you can relate, they've watched a webinar, they've been to an event, they get all jazzed up, and they're like, I want to do like these lookalike audiences and all this stuff, and it's like all this crazy targeting. And I'm like, dude, it's like $3 per like 1,000 people we show an ad to. And like, you only service like a 10-mile radius around the town. So like, how about we just hit fucking everybody like a carpet bomb every single day? So like in 6 months, everyone's going to know who you are because we've gotten to this world, man, where digital marketing has almost like tainted the minds of entrepreneurs because if you go back to 1950s, 1960s, when television and radio advertising was around, and even before that, newspaper, it was all about just like, hey, here we are, right? Like, because if they don't know you, they can't flow you, right? And so it's like you got to get that top of mind awareness, that brand engagement. People got to know who your business is, and I think that's the biggest to me. Dude, Patrick, I think that's the biggest challenge that small businesses have. It's not their product, it's not their people, it's not their processes and their SOPs or their logo or the color of their fucking, font at the top of their proposal. It's just not enough people know who they are. And the only way you fix that is that very top of the funnel branding. And some of that stuff takes time. And I just knew, that's why we still sell advertising on CPM basis because newspapers do it, television does it, radio does it. I'm like, who the fuck am I to think I'm so special that I need to come in and change how advertising is done, right? And so like, I've just always thought that, but you've got like these marketing nerds that are like, well, just pay me tens of thousands of dollars to split test your messages. And it's like, That's real close to what my attorney tells me when I'd say, hey, can you review this contract? He's like, well, I need to do some research on this trade. I'm like, you're a fucking trademark attorney. Why do you need to do research for, right? It's like, well, that's very specific. It's like, it's crazy, man. So I think you're spot on with that. Talk to me about a personal brand though. Cause like, what's the difference to you? Like I have my own take on this, but like, what's the difference between managing a personal brand versus the business's brand?
This video is made for a roofing contractor in the largest retirement community in the country called the Villages in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody there drives a golf cart. Everybody there plays golf. Golf carts and golf, that's what everyone is. And so earlier I was talking about make stuff specific to an area that people will engage with. This video has generated them $2 million alone in revenue. It's 20 seconds long. There's not one damn roof in the video. So I want to show this one to you.
Okay.
This will be a great example for your viewers to kind of see what others are putting out there in the field right now.
Roofing in the Villages isn't just about putting a quality roof up. It's also about dodging golf carts and golf balls. Eustace Roofing has been servicing the Villages for over 4 generations. It only makes sense to go with the experience that makes the difference.
I'll break it down for you. It's basically a guy that opens up, then gets hit by a golf cart, and a golf ball bounces off the top. Patrick, my marketing brain, I was like, this is instantly about to be a dude that tees off and bounces a golf ball off of a roof, right? But to your point, I knew exactly where you were going. It's like, it's not about roofing, right? It's our power washing ads are the same way in my blue collar business, right? It's like, you could be on the golf course, but instead you're at home power washing your house, right? You could be at the nail salon, but instead you're at home, telling your husband he missed a spot on the gutter, right? It's like talking to those customers in a way that they're going to relate and they want to watch that. It's funny. It's humor. That's one of those 20-second clips, dude, that you watch for 3 minutes because you watch it 6 times in a row, right? It's like, I want to watch that guy get ran over by a golf cart again.
Exactly. And so to go back to your question about personal and professional brand, here's what we teach here is that when a company comes on, most of the time they have no professional and no personal brand with us. They've done some stuff, they've dabbled in some marketing, but they really don't have a brand on either side. And so what we tell owners of companies is in the beginning, we need to put butts into seats. We need to sell your product. You need to keep the doors open. You need to have a brand on your professional side. Great. So we run ads, we create videos like that. It builds a brand on the professional side. Awesome. Over here, though, you have the personal brand. And the personal brand is where you need to get people to like you, engage with you, understand how you think about things. And you can build this. But here's the cool thing. Over time, what I tell our clients is you're getting all your leads from paid, but you should start to have a personal following that over time begins to be your main lead source. A great example of this is someone like Brad Lee. I don't think a lot of people could tell me what Brad Lee's Lightspeed does. But if you watch the guy, you watch his podcast, you've seen him speak, you want to do business with him. And so you'll begin to do research and go, oh, that's what he does. I trust that brand because he's built a personal brand up here. He has to do less marketing and put less ad spend here because he's built the personal brand. Yep. So you've got to make that shift is what we have to do. And that's when it becomes very powerful because then your ad budget goes to almost zero. And yet you've got great incoming customers who are begging to do business with you.
I love that, man. Funny story about Brad Lee. I'm just a Kentucky hillbilly. I wore my shoes today so nobody could tell. But the first time I met Brad was actually at his office in Vegas. This was back before he had any social media following. And it was so long ago. I have to go back and see what the exact year was. But I was about 10 minutes late getting to his office. I DM'd him on Twitter and I said, hey, I'm in town, would love to meet you. And he was like, cool, here's my assistant's number, Maria, who I think I saw her on the call the other day. She's still his assistant. And so we set it up. I was like 10 minutes late and I apologized. I was like, man, the cab was late getting there. He's like, cab? Dude, why didn't you just take an Uber? And I was like, the fuck is Uber, right? Like it hadn't even gotten to Kentucky yet. And so he's like, here, download this app and check this out. And so Brad Lee is the person that put me onto Uber, which was pretty cool. And he'll tell you, I got him his first he may have had some followers, but like, I think I like tweeted out, I was like, you guys need to go follow Brad Lee. And like 200 of my followers like went over and followed him. And he was like, holy shit, man, you got real pull. And it's like now, dude probably gets 200 new followers a week. So it's like no big deal, but I can't wait to see him in St. Pete. And cause I haven't seen him in person since then. So funny story, man, of being in the internet marketing world for years and knowing some of these guys from way back when. Alex Hormozy just did his big book launch. I saw him at ClickFunnels in San Diego. I met him for the first time in 2016 when he was telling Alex Charfen about his gym launch idea. Him and Layla had their like 8 gyms, and he was getting ready to just like go build a bunch of gyms. And Alex Charfen was like, that's the dumbest idea. Just go license your IP to them. And that's what became Gym Launch. And so it's cool that I've been in this space so long to like see some of these things play out and see some of these guys blow up. I won't say I'm not a little salty that their brands have like blown past mine, but I'm also maybe a little edgy, a little less mainstream. So I've had some media coaches tell me if I'd stop dropping the F-bomb as often, it would probably help me out. But I'm also one of those guys, man, where I'm like, hey, you get what you get, and you either like it or you don't. And it's funny, Brad's got a story where he talks about Cardone, and he says that he texts Cardone one day and goes, hey man, I'm gonna unfollow you. You're like, the content is just too much. It's just like, I just see shit over and over and over again. I'm gonna unfollow you. To which Grant said, go ahead, you weren't gonna buy anything anyway, bitch, right? And so it's like, it's that mindset of like, and this is, I mean, Patrick, this is why you see TikTokers that have 20 million followers that have had 6 failed product launches. Because just because you can TikTok dance doesn't mean you have influence and power over your followers. And so we'll save that for a whole other episode. We could get into that. But talk to me, man, about imposter syndrome. Because I think we're in a place where, again, this is my raw, uncut version of this, but it's the reason why I bought this, why I wrote this book, is that I think people have just gotten soft. And so instead of saying like, hey, I'm insecure, we've made up these like warm and fuzzy words of like, I have imposter syndrome. Talk to me about business owners that are maybe insecure about getting in front of that camera and making the content. Because I'm sure you go through this with blue collar guys. To me, I think like one of the coolest videos ever is like if a big burly blue collar guy had like a pet rabbit that he put in every video, right? Like it's just softening you up or something that catches in a prop. But talk to me about that. What's your thoughts on people that are afraid to get in front of the camera? I know we alluded to that a little bit earlier with the branding, but anything else that you could add to that to help people build up that courage and that confidence?
Yeah, I think if you're just beginning your journey, do everything possible to be your most authentic self. You don't have to be a used car salesman when the red light turns on and that camera's, hey, come on down right now to Eustace Roofing. Come on down to Patrick Carr, man. I can't wait to be able. It's like, okay, buddy, that's not you. And what we tell our clients, if we see that, because sometimes we'll show up and we'll be talking like this, the red light turns on and they turn into a completely different person. And I'll go, stop. Who is this guy that just came out right here? And it's because if you're over the age of, say, 35, you probably grew up on 90s, early 2000s television, where you think it has to be, these commercials have to be over animated, the used car salesman approach. Come on down to Chevrolet today, that whole thing.
Yeah. Or the radio DJ, right? Where it's like, tuning in to WWKG17, right? It's like
today's hits and yesterday's favorites. But we tell our clients this, is that not because that doesn't work, but because you're going to get damn tired of that real quick. And there's no way over time you're going to be able to create enough content if every time that red light turns on, you feel like you have to be a different person.
Yeah.
That's not what you want. And I explained to them right there, I've happened many times in front of a build that's going on, is that 50% of people ain't going to like you, brother. They might as well not like you for the most authentic you. All right. The worst is that if somebody comes up to you and says, I don't really like you. I just decided, hey, listen, I want to do business with you after seeing that ad. And you have to think to yourself, that isn't even me. That was like a persona that I was putting on. I thought I was acting cool. Yeah. People want to see the authentic you. I think it's why bloopers are so popular as an ad for us when we put them out there. People just want to say, oh, he's like me. I get it. It's not polished. This guy's a plumber. This guy's a roofer. This guy, I don't know, he makes shelves. And I think people appreciate authenticity. And as a creator, you'll create more if you're actually authentic to who you are and not trying to pretend to be somebody that other people are going to like.
I love that, man. I couldn't agree more. I always say, draw your line in the sand. I know a lot of people don't like to get political. It's one of the easiest ways to do it. I've lost clients before because of it. And people will message me and they'll say, hey, I don't like that thing you said about Trump. And I'm like, well, what didn't you like about it? And it's like, well, I don't want to get into it. And it's like, okay. And then it's like they cancel their account with us. And I'm like, all right, whatever, man. Because like, I know that 6 other people, I just solidified them as lifelong clients now. And so the world is a lot bigger than what you think it is. I also want to allude, Hank Norman was my media coach for a while, and he called it your media voice. And it's 3 octaves higher than your normal voice. So instead of it being like this, it's like, hey guys, how are you doing today? It's like they jump that octave. Patrick's laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. When you like hit record and it's like, whoa, where the fuck did that just come from? That's not how you talk, man. And I'll just tell you guys, like, being unapologetically, authentically yourself, what Patrick's saying is easier for you to make content. You'll also put out more content because there isn't this like massive preparation of how it's going to come across. And like, I think Hormozy is one of the best guys to do it. It's like, he's actually kind of boring when you watch him, right? And I think people watch him just because his content is so good, like the nuggets are there. And then when he delivers it, it's like even a seasoned entrepreneur, he talks to you like you're stupid, like duh, right? So he's almost got that Dave Ramsey vibe where it's like you moron, why? Yeah, it's just double your prices, duh, problem solved, right? And so I truly believe that, man, and I couldn't agree with you more on that. Let's talk about practical marketing advice for founders that got no budget, right? So a guy that's watching right now and they're like, yeah, Patrick, I get it, but I'm not a home builder, dude. I clean dryer vents out for a living. My average ticket's $400. I can't afford to pay you to come out here. Like, what advice do you have for those guys as they're trying to scale to a point where they can outsource this stuff?
I think that I would ask those people, why should I pay attention to you? What makes you different as a person, as a company? And then once we got past all the BS about, well, we care about our customer and the customer experience needs to be great and blah, blah, blah.
Quality service.
Oh yeah, quality service, and we have experience. And okay, got it. Okay, we've done that now. Good. Now we get to the real stuff. Okay, let me give you an example. You just threw that one out to me. Dryer vents, right? I would ask them, I would say, when you take out that dryer vent, do you clean it with a glove or you do it with your hands? Well, I do it with my hands because that way I can't feel all the hairs and stuff when I have a glove on. Oh, now you got my attention, all right? Because that's something that I physically can see and that I as a customer would look at and go, huh, okay, this guy's a pro. He thought about this. He thinks about it. And so I would dive really deep into what really makes you different. Hey, you know what? When I show up, I'll never look at your clothes and I won't judge you for what's on top of your dryer. All right, that means something to me. I sign a non-disclosure agreement for anything that I see when I walk into your house because you don't want a stranger walking in there and having to see your laundry. Who knows what they could see, right? Tell me the weirdest thing you ever saw in a dryer when you opened up the door. That's something I could get behind. You ever seen, I don't know, something you weren't supposed to see? Like, you've got to talk about things that would actually be interesting to other people. No one cares about dryer vents, but you can make them care about the process, the things you've seen. I can get passionate about dryer vents if you tell me the right story. And so that'd be what I would start with right there.
I love it, man. I also think too of like, if you can, humor, let's face it, these platforms are for entertainment purposes. Like Zuck's created Facebook to connect college students, but it's a long fucking ways from that, right? Like it is not about that anymore. It's about entertainment. And so while you might want to talk about your GX1000 vacuum that sucks at 12,000 CFMs that nobody understands except for nerds in your industry, shove a rubber chicken inside the dryer vent and pull that thing out at the beginning of your video and go, it's like, who knows what's in your dryer vent, right? It's like that 3-second hook, man, is so powerful in social media. And sometimes it can be staged, right? To me, it's okay to stage it if, as the viewer, I go, that was staged, right? And I'm laughing because I know that it's staged, right? I also think that we're in a world where talked about this before, like these AI influencers, these deep fakes, You know, Synthesia is a great platform where you like can literally upload yourself and it'll make videos really made for like training. But I'm like, that's interesting. You can make content. If Bob's terrible in front of the camera, it can be a version of him. And I think that that's only going to continue to improve. I don't know if you saw this, Patrick, but Claude came out and said that their model's improving like 400% per quarter, which is just insane, man. Like, you know, it's like massive. And so when people are like, let me tell you what the end of the decade is going to look like, I'm like, nobody knows, dude. Maybe a couple of those nerds that Zuck's hired for $100 million, you know, signing bonus. But other than that, man, where this thing's going with AI is definitely going to be a fun and interesting ride, I believe, for guys like you and I.
I definitely think it's going to be. You know, I'll be honest, I'm a little nervous about some things. Am I going to be able to adapt quick enough? Am I going to, in my old ways, you know, hey, listen, I'm not younger. So sometimes I find myself getting set in my ways. Luckily, I've got a very young team, so they remind me to step out of my comfort zone. But yeah, I think that, you know, I've got to continue to try to push ourselves here as a leader and not get so, well, it's the way we've always done it, or I think it's going to stay that way. We got to try to innovate and continue to push ourselves.
Love it, man. As we wrap up here, I always like to ask the question because I think readers are leaders. I've got probably 150 books in my Audible library that I've read. And what's a good book that you've read recently that you can share with my audience? Look at that.
Book changed my life. This is the book that changed everything for me 2.5 years ago, or now about 2 years ago now when it came out. The Power of One More, Ed Milet.
That's a good one.
It's about as easy of a read as it comes. Like, I'm not a reader, but it's short little chapters, big words. So, I mean, you can get through the book in just a couple of days. I used to read a chapter in the morning when I had breakfast and just read one chapter a day. And it is so immensely powerful. I think Ed Milet is just incredible.
Yeah.
So The Power of One More, I keep it right here for any guest that comes in my studio. This is the one that changed my life.
Love it, man. Love it. And then obviously you're in video and film, so I want to know the wildest behind the scenes client story that you got. Please leave the client name out of it.
Wildest story that I got. I'm trying to think here. What is the wildest one that I have? I mean, yeah, that definitely the name out of this one. We caught one of our clients having an affair on video. The client had decided to do a roof install at their home, all right? And so the wife was not home, and we showed up early to the shoot. Well, our cameras are running as the woman leaves, and we're out there testing everything. We're in the road. The guy, you know, everything's being set up. She's leaving. It's not his wife. I know because they're business partners, and I'd done calls with them. And so I'm thinking to myself, 7 a.m. in the morning, who is this woman leaving right now? She looks at us like it's just ghost white that we're out there and the cameras are rolling. I'm like, I don't know exactly what to say. And the client ended up around lunchtime. He couldn't stand it anymore, pulled me over to the side and was like, hey, do you have that footage? We own it, right? So we can delete that. Will you delete that footage right now? And I'm like, hey, man, you own it. You're right. We will delete it right now. We ended up deleting it. It was the right thing to do. The client does own the footage that we take. But yeah. I remember sitting there and going, holy crap, this is going on like that show Cheaters. I felt like we were on right now.
Man. You know, when I saw this question, I was like, oh, that's going to be a fun one. Not in a million years was that my guess of what you would have came up with, Patrick. So, holy smokes, man. Way to give me a viral clip to put at the beginning of this episode to get people to watch all the way through for that part. So, you know, and by the way, man, I love your haircut, too. So,
it's a new style, you know, it's my style.
Well,
I got tired. I used to have a little hard part right here. And then my team was like, Patrick, it's just looking really rough, brother.
Yeah.
Like, I think you just got to take it off.
That's right. That's right. Patrick, if people want to reach out to you, how do they find you online, my man?
Yeah, so you can put in Blue Collar Media Group on something like a YouTube, an Instagram. Put in Patrick Carr on any of those. You'll probably come up with my name right there. It's usually a blue background with me, my arms crossed, looking like I'm cool or tough right there. So you can find me on those places.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the Sales Factory, man. This has been an action-packed, information-packed episode. We'll definitely have to have you on again. Guys, make sure you leave a comment hit the share button and the like button. If you haven't left a review yet on the Apple podcast platform, if you're on an iOS device, please go do that. It allows me to get the podcast in front of more people so we can help more entrepreneurs succeed. And as always, until next time, I'm your host, Coach Carroll. This has been another great episode on the Sales Factory. Here's to your success. Hustle, it's worth it.